Hello and welcome to section 5 of Unit 4 of International Procurement. Today we'll be discussing import procedures in Ghana. By the end of this section, you should be able to demonstrate an understanding of the specific import procedures under the jurisdiction of Ghana and again demonstrate awareness of the required documents for clearing or for clearance. So for import procedures in Ghana, there are this is the main step, or this is the entire step or procedure in import procedures in Ghana, or importing goods in Ghana. First, you have to register your company. You hire a clearing agent to obtain the trade insurance. Register for Ghana's single window. Again, submit electronic import declaration form, that's the EIDF, and then you begin an MDA process, and then later you move to applying for a unique consignment reference and then obtain certificate for conformity, and then later you clear or you move to the clearing process. The first step is to register your company. So, by registration of companies, you always need the TIN number for tax clearance certificate, then tax identification number for the registration of your company. Once these are cleared, you can apply as an importer with customs using the online registration process at the GCN. So, um, Ghana Customs Net, that's where you may use the you may create the portal or you may register. After filling out the form, print it out and take it to your nearest Ghana Customs Excise and Preventive Service. So the SEPS, that's for the registration office. So you take it to the Customs SEPS registration office for registration to be done. So then you hire a clearing agent and obtain a trade insurance. You always need a clearing agent or yes, to obtain that trade insurance. So Customs Act 2015 Act 891 Section 43 requires all importers except for self-declarants to hire licensed customs house agents to clear cargo at any freight station in Ghana. So this means as a firm you will require the services of a registered clearing agent in Ghana if you may want to import something into the country. It's also important to purchase a trade insurance to protect your product from damage during transit. This one is always important to do it because insurance is always gives you that security of um, your purchase or that security of your product safety. Then you come to you register for the Ghana Single Window. Ghana Single Window system is a secure online portal where you can exchange information with the logistics company and then the government of Ghana. So it facilitates the speed up of the customs clearing process for documents and clearance of imported goods throughout the port. So this system also facilitates the speed up of these of clearing goods from the ports. Again, GCNet EMAD portals for documentations relevant to trade overseen by the government of Ghana is also another one. GICC, that's the Ghana Integrated Cargo Clearance, um, Ghana Integrated Cargo Clearance System is also another uh, Ghana single window, portal you can register on. And then e-tax portal where you can manage your tax documentations and payments. And again, e-registrar portal where you can also register your legal entities in Ghana. So all of these are portals where it will be appropriate to register on so that you can speed up your clearing processes. Then come to apply for a unique consignment reference. So a unique consignment reference is a unique electronic reference number that is used to identify the import consignment in Ghana. So if you are importing something, you will need a unique reference number for that import to be done, or that import or for that product in question. So this should be obtained as early as possible in your import processes, and you may need this as very early as possible so that if the number is required for speed up processes, it can be given. So is the first document to be created before all the other documents such as the e-permits, e-exemptions, e-imports, declaration forms, and what have you. And even for the customs declaration forms, you would need you need the unique consignment reference number to work in that regard. Then you begin an MDA sub process. To begin, you will log into the Ghana single window and scan the required attachments, including your commercial invoices or the bill of lading of which you receive from um, your 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 exporters, and then packaging lists as well. So that will include what you may have in your shipment. So next, you submit your e-permit information to the appropriate MDA and pay your e-permit fee through an authorized bank. So you would need the e-permit information from to make these payments. But then after submitting the e-permit information to the ministry, department, or agency, you would have to pay the e-permit through an authorized bank, to mostly Ghana Commercial Bank. After approval, a copy of your e-permit will be forwarded to the Ghana Customs Management Service. And then you submit your EIDF, that's the electronic import declaration form. So as an importer, you must submit that one to the Ministry of Trade and Industry using the Ghana single window. So that is why I mentioned earlier that you need the Ghana single window for to speed up your process, because everything has now been changed from manual to an online system. So if you don't have your or if you are not subscribed to the Ghana single window system, it will be very difficult for you to speed up the process. The EID declares your intent to import goods into the country. Later in the process, it can also be used as an input document to allow you to open a letter of credit to pay for your goods or to begin the um, destination inspection company sub processes. Then after that, you obtain a certificate of conformity. So all imports requires the presentation of a certificate of conformity to be um, clear to be cleared at the customs. So the COC, that's the certificate of conformity, is a document that demonstrates the shipment compliance to relevant standards. So it is to, demonstrate that the shipment complies to relevant standards of the country, relevant standards of um, the relevant standards of the customs as well. So the certificate of conformity, as the name connotes, confirm to compliance of relevant standards. So the COC is meant to minimize the importation of unsafe or counterfeit goods and to ensure that the product meets certain quality. So you may confirm to see that okay, this product is not fake, this product meets certain quality, and this product is not counterfeit, and then this product can be on our market. Yeah, so basically that's what the certificate of conformity is about. Then clearance process. So the customs clearance process is the process through which the GRA Customs Division grant permission to your consignment to enter the country. So I think this should be the last step where I mean the clearance is granted by the customs divisions of the GRA for it to be used in the country. We'll discuss this into detail in Unit 6 when we get there. So let's look at some port clearing documentation. So let's look at airway bill. So it's a document prepared by the shipper that provides details about contents of the shipment, so the route and carrier and the shipping charges. So airway bill basically gives it is prepared by the person that shipped the goods, and then it provides details about what is in the shipment, or I mean what item it is we are shipping, the route and the carrier, and as well as the shipping charges of the the entire consignment or the entire shipment. Then we come to the bank bill. So a bank bill or a bill presented by is a bill presented by the bank by the buyer's bank to the buyer that covers the total cost of goods received and any bank charge of processing the order. So cable charges, interest on letter of credit and all that. So if you mentioned earlier, if you remember earlier, I mentioned that the letter of credit is something that organizations use through payments. So it is some form of payment that various the banker of the buyer and the bank of the seller engages in. So the bank bill is presented by the buyer's banker to the buyer. That covers that debt. Um, these are the total cost, or this is the total cost you incurred using some of these banking services. So that's what the bank bill talks about. When it comes to bank guarantee, in certain circumstances, the lack of necessary documents may make it impossible for buyers to clear a consignment of medicines that has arrived at the port. In such instances, a bank guarantees from the buyer's in such instances, a bank guarantee from the buyer's bank can facilitate port clearing. So basically, for example, if you really the agency of the item is something that you can't take for granted. So even if you don't have money, there's that guarantee of the bankers. Yes. So you guarantee the bankers and then you may sorry, the bank of the buyer guarantees for the importer and then clearing um, uh, processes begin for the products or the goods to be cleared from the port. When we come to the bill of lading, a document certifying that the goods are in charge of the carrying vessel and dated on or before the last day for shipment was given in the letter of credit. The document is issued by the shipper and signed by the master of the vessel. So basically, the bill of lading is a document that shows who is carrying this vessel, and it's mostly signed by the master of the vessel. So it indicates that okay, this is the vessel and this is what um, we are carrying, and then it is mostly given by the is mostly given in the letter of credit that the importer um, receives. Then come to certificate of origin. So certificate of origin talks about the destination or talks about the origination of the product in question. So for example, if I'm shipping or if I'm importing goods from the UK, then the certificate of origin may depict or show that this item in shipment is from the UK. So basically, that is what certificate of origin talks about. So such a certificate should be obtained from a national chamber of commerce or similar institute of the exporter's country. So if you're exporting to me, your country's national chamber of commerce should give a certificate of origin as part of the documentation of the product in question. Then we come to certificate of quality. So a buyer usually insists on certification from the supplier, such as batch certificate and WHO, the World Health Organization type certificate of a pharmaceutical product from exporting countries drug regulatory authority. So basically, the certificate of quality is something that's also important when it comes to pharmaceutical drugs or when it comes to pharmaceutical products. So the quality of that pharmaceutical product is also important. So it is that certification that organizations may want or businesses or importers may want from exporters countries. And you come to insurance policy. The insurance policy indicates that a certain sum of money has been paid as a premium to cover the consignment. So basically, as you already know what insurance is, so it is amount that pays to cover the premium for the consignment. So in case of any form of damage, then the insurance policy may cover the buyer or the seller. Then we come to invoices. Documents provided by the supplier indicating cost, freight insurance, and other payments due on the order. So basically, for any document that indicates cost and freight as well as insurance and any form of payments that are due is what we term an invoice. A letter of credit, as we've already mentioned earlier, is mostly done among banks or is an interbank document issued by the buyer's bank. It states that a certain sum of money is available for the seller to claim from the bank as soon as a consignment is shipped, and the required documents are presented as specified in the letter of credit. So basically, it's between banks where it's between the bankers of the seller and the bankers of the buyer, where a letter of credit is only given after um, payments have been done among what do you call it, the various actors in the transaction. So it becomes irrevocable when appropriated and numbered by the bank. So we come to packaging list. So packaging list is prepared by the seller, mostly the person that sold the product to the buyer, and it gives a list of item in question. So this is the list of, let's say, item in this shipment. So you give a list of all the products in question. Then we come to the pro forma invoice. So a pro forma invoice provides to the buyer by the seller, and it includes information such as the price of the product, shipping and insurance charges if applicable, total value, and detailed description of the product offered, and the terms of payment. So a pro forma invoice is an invoice of cost that is given to the buyer by the seller, and then it gives a description of the product, its price, its value, and then also the description of the products that may be offered when um, payments are being done. So in this section, we looked at specific import procedures under the jurisdiction of Ghana, and as well as some required documentations for clearance. Thank you. See you next time.